Okay. Oh, hi. Why is this not working? I keep forgetting to. This, after I've done a live show, is the recorded version you guys get to all enjoy. Yeah, okay, there we go. This is the Nicole Howard Show. Hello. I am here on a Tuesday. Well, it's Wednesday evening, doing another live. Again, these are all sort of all becoming test test runs, but I think I've got it figured out. I just gotta change my time so that I can actually have people start wanting to watch live. Yeah. Today I had to take my cat to the vet. I have Anakin Skywalker, who you've seen if you've been watching this. He's 17 years old. I got him when I was living in town at my. Oh no, I was not living at my own house. He, uh, the cat that I had at the time, my Bengal, actually had been at the house I owned. And so the Bengal, I kind of got the kit Anakin for the Bengal because he was lonely. I didn't have my shepherd at the time. Was living at my parents' house. Long story, but I was not being a very responsible person at the time, and my parents' mom felt that was the best place for him, and she was right. She was okay with me keeping the cats. She really liked that dog. And eventually I got him back. But at the time, and sometimes he'd come visit, I had the Bengal. I got my little Anakin from a friend, knew a gal who had a cat get pregnant, who thought he was really cool because he was born black with one white toe, and so she got rid of the mother cat and all the other kittens to the Humane Society and kept him so that somebody that she knew would get him because he was such a cool cat. Even though she didn't know me, I got him. He had two Doberman pinchers he was living with at the time. I almost didn't even get him when I went to go look for him, look or see him. We sat there for. She couldn't find him, and finally, I was like, I guess he's not going to come out and show himself. Not meant to be. And as I walked out the door, he came pew, out of nowhere and was like, I'm here. I'm here. So I picked him up and I went, I'll take him. She goes, well, I want to have my kids say goodbye. So he stayed for there another day or two. And then my friend that was the mutual friend of the girl brought him over to my house in a shoebox. Which when I just see, look at my chat right. It's excellent. When his little head popped out of the box, my Bengal was like, "Oh, you got me a toy and it moves. I'll take it." And off he went with poor Anakin in his mouth around the corner down the hallway to the bedroom. And I was like, "No, no, 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 no! You can't take the kitten. That's not for. It's not a toy." And from that point forward, I had to constantly, while he was that size, play. Do not put the cat in your mouth, because that's what he wanted. He wanted to play rough too with poor little Anakin, but Anakin held his own. And now he's like a Bengal because he was raised by a Bengal. And then I had some issues with, my Bengal's health, and I immediately, not immediately, within a couple months, got a second one, and uh, the first one was Duma. Duma is Swahili for cheetah, even though Bengals are Asian leopards, third generation. Uh, Obi-Wan Kenobi was my next Bengal. Obi-Wan was cool. However, he came with health issues too. I remember taking him to the vet, the same vet I was just at, and then running out after they did everything. And they went, wait, you gotta come back in. I go, why? He said, just come back in. And I said, what's going on? And they said, he tested positive for feline leukemia. I said, you're kidding me. This cat was expensive. And he was from a reputable breeder. Not to mention, he was, I couldn't even believe it. Feline leukemia is like feline AIDS, whereas feline AIDS is like human leukemia. It's backwards. It makes absolutely no sense. Uh, and I noticed when I went there, she had multiple litters, you know, playing with each other. So there was kittens of different ages, mothers with other kittens of other litters. By the way, a large group of cats is called a clouder or a glaring, I believe. In any case, Is it shining or clearing? I know it's a clouder. She obviously had, and if you go to a good cattery, for people that want to learn about cats but really aren't here to learn about cats and are buying a cat from a good breeder, purebred cat, it's one thing if you go to the Humane Society, great. I support that 100%. Like I said, Anakin's, he would have ended up there. A breeder should not have anyone allowed in the cattery. That's what it's called, where they're bred and raised and all that. With shoes on, you have to wash your hands, sit down. You're not allowed to touch any of the other cats. There shouldn't be cats cross communicating with other breedings. It should be clean. And again, some people are so strict about their catteries, they will only let one of you in at a time, but they'll, there shouldn't be any outside stuff coming in. So the fact that we didn't have to take our shoes off was ding, ding, ding. That was something now I know. I did think it was a little weird. Also, this was in the middle of Michigan where I went and found him, down closer, in a bigger city. And it was not any time during this time of year. It was the spring. And yet I thought she looked like she was wearing Halloween makeup. And I thought, she must be going to some kind of party. It's very weird that she's not saying and explaining to us why she's wearing all this weird makeup, because her lips were really dark and her skin was like pasty white and her hair was almost looked like she had put some purple stuff in it, and she was wearing all black and she looked like she was going to some sort of, like she was trying to be Morticia Adams with a twist. And then I noticed the pictures around the house. She looked the exact same in all of them. And I thought, huh, that's how this woman does her makeup. How at some point anyone she's friends with didn't say to her, hey, you might not want to do your makeup like that. But maybe all her friends look the same too. In any case, I wasn't going to judge. No judgment over how somebody wants to do their. I'm sure people don't think my looks great. But long story short, she had a business running with sick cats. And I said to her, if he's got it, because she tried to say, well, you've had him for 2 weeks, maybe. I said, no, my other cat's been vaccinated. He hasn't been exposed to anybody else. He's an indoor cat, and he can't have it test positive in 2 weeks. If kitten like this, he was either born with it or got it shortly after being born. This came from you. And he did start, I noticed some little scabs when I had him on his tail. I thought it was playing with the other kittens before I got him. No, it was this. And once I changed his diet and everything, I got him cleaned up. But again, complications a couple years later. Obi-Wan. Same with, like I said, Duma had a different issue. He had just one functioning kidney when he was born. So then one kidney, the other kidney had a ureter stone, and so the other kidney that would have functioned for him while this one that had a problem happened never was able to kick in because it never worked. So, Michigan State is where we went. Michigan State basically said, we do surgery, but these things you got to keep him quiet the rest of his life. You can't do that with that breed of cat. They are like dogs that can jump on every surface. Very smart. They'll play fetch with you. They're great cats. Go for car rides, walks on a leash. Very smart. I was like, yeah, there's no keeping this cat quiet. Are you kidding me? I mean, he used to get on the roof, and we still don't know how. It was like magic. There was no physical way for him to get on the roof. There was no trees close enough. There was no exit off of the house. Unless he scaled the side of the house, there's no other way he got up there. And from how? He was an indoor cat. Anyway. I mean, one time my mom called and said, your cat's on the back porch. And I'm like, what? I live next door. And he was just here a couple hours ago. He had somehow pushed the air conditioning vent back and jumped out 2 stories down. And often wonder if that's when that ureter stone shifted. If it was in his, anyway, because it happened right after that. In any case, so Anakin basically grew up with 2 Bengals. And he's a very interesting cat. So I went to the vet. He's had early kidney issues, and basically they've had me manage it with food. And so there's less protein in it and this and that, and it's been helping because this water take, you want your cat to drink a lot of water. True story. That's why you should always provide a fountain and a bowl of water for them to have the option, and give them at least 1 can of cat food a day along with their dry. It's healthy for them to have that. However, When a cat suddenly starts drinking a bowl of water a day, that's not normal. That's when you go and check them out, which is why I noticed his fountain was, I was having to add water to it because I clean it every week, and cleaning his kitty litter was just it's insane. It was like, this is a bag weighed like 20 pounds, and I'm good about cleaning it often. Anyway, as soon as I switched his diet, his water intake changed. Now I never have to add water to his fountain. He does have a bowl too, but he's been starting to drink that bowl of water faster, and he started to feel thinner. And I was right; he's lost 2 pounds almost in the last couple months. So till I get the blood work back. Now, this is what I would like to talk about. I've been going to this vet probably since, I would say, I think we switched to them around 2005, roughly 20 years. And back then, the owner used to be there. It's one of the best vets in town. Which, while there, I was googling stuff about vets and stuff like that. And where I live is where the people working at the vets are the most highly paid because it's a high income area, and they charge the most. It's like, of course. Anyway, um, we've had a lot of issues. My mom's old pets had all kinds of stuff going on, which I will get to some of the stories I think I've talked about a little bit. Her dogs kept getting bladder infection, bladder infection, bladder infection, thousands and thousands of dollars. And it was when we had this haunting at our house, and that'll be for another episode. And they were attacking the animals. And when we finally got rid of the ghosts, the bladder infection stopped. They even called us to say, "Have you switched vets?" Because suddenly we weren't going there every week. So I've been going to this vet a long time. Families dumped thousands. My shepherd used to go there for weekly therapy, and so I saw the girl today. She came and gave me a hug. They used to do his therapy, this laser therapy, which was amazing for his degenerative myelopathy in his back. Common disorder German shepherds get. I'm sitting there, and last time I was there, less than a year ago, this is about $300-something, which was ridiculous for blood work and a checkup and urine and fecal test. But whatever, that's the vet he has to go to, because otherwise I'd have to do all these shots to have him go to a new vet, and it'd end up costing even more. Plus, I trust the people. She told me as we were doing through all the stuff that today's appointment would be a little more than that. And I wanted his blood pressure checked, and they're like, they came into the room and said that'd be 72, and I said, that's low. Over what? And she goes, no, that's for the blood pressure. I go, yeah, 72 over what? That's low. She goes, $72. I went, to check his blood pressure? Isn't that technically included as the office visit? I mean, even when you as a human go to the doctor, they just check your blood pressure. I've never had to pay for his blood pressure. Every time I've come here, he's had his blood pressure checked, and they've pull up the old bills. God, I want to see this right now. I said, look, they checked his blood pressure and didn't charge me a dime. She goes, I guess they missed it. And I said, well, maybe you could miss it today. No, this girl was a new vet. I've never dealt with her. She was younger. I could tell they didn't really care for me because I talked too much. I couldn't walk out of there without checking it because I was due for. I've seen what happens if the animal's blood pressure is really high. So, blood pressure, $72 later got checked. $500 I walked out of that vet's office spending today. $500 to do blood work, basic blood work, urine screen, fecal screening, and a blood pressure test, and just sit in the office and have her examine him. I mean, I could have bought the cuff for cat blood pressure tests and a stethoscope, which has a longer name actually, and save myself money. However, I don't really know how to do it, but I'm sure I could watch something on YouTube and figure out how to. So I'm gonna from now on do it myself because that's ridiculous. I'm just gonna check his blood pressure myself, and you know what? Since I'll have it, I'll do my mom's cats too. Maybe I'll start a business. Come get your cat's blood pressure checked for $20. I might be really busy. I'd have to have an area just for the cat. My laundry room would be perfect for it. And there's a back entrance. I wonder if you have to have a license for that, though. In any case, I need to remember this. So yeah, that I'm now, and we don't even know still what's going on with him. We're just gonna have to wait for the blood work and all the other tests back. But he was a good boy. He was really needy when I got him home. Just wanted, I mean, just he couldn't like think up what to do. He wanted to go in the bedroom, but then he wanted to be next to me, and then he decided to just lay in the middle of the kitchen floor. It was like, oh, never lay there. Yeah, I can imagine to an animal, especially a cat, and he has only really been probably up until, other than when he was a kitten, to the vet. Yeah, when he got neutered, and then I had to take him in for a booster shot when I found out about my one cat with feline leukemia, which thank goodness he was, my camera's blurry, vaccinated, so he just needed a booster. Which saved him from catching it because it's very contagious. Just from sharing food and kitty litter boxes, that's all it takes. And then, gosh, it's been 10. No, that's not right. No, that's not right at all. Oh, yeah. It's been 10, 11, 12. It was 11 years almost from his last time at the vet. Because I never, he was an indoor cat. He didn't ever, he was perfectly healthy until he started having health issues. I didn't take him to the vet. I should have taken him and gotten his teeth cleaned. I regret that now. He's too old now to do it. It's too risky. I just didn't think of it, and this is all during my time of chaos. It is good to get your pet's teeth cleaned for a multitude of reasons. And if you do it in February, that's dental month. Dental month means you get a discount. And so yeah, this cat hasn't spent a lot of time in cars. He still somehow managed to get out of the carrier today and into the back seat. And I was sitting there and I heard a noise behind me and I thought, oh my God, there's something else in my truck. What is it? And it's him. And I thought, well, when did you do that? How did you get out? I left the zipper slightly open. And he's wiggled his way through. And then trying to get him back in the carrier so I could take him inside was a real treat. Because, of course, it's like trying to get a cat in a bathtub. There's some sad videos on Twitter of cats getting baths. I've had to bathe cats. It's awful. And they look so skinny and their eyes are so huge and they give you this look like, I can't believe you hate me. That's exactly the look they give you. You hate me, don't you? After we're done here, I'm going to get you back. And they usually do. I am going to get you back. Oh my gosh. Usually you don't have to bathe cats because they do a good enough job of bathing themselves. Sphinx cats, I don't agree with. I feel bad for them. Those are the hairless ones, which is actually a genetic mutation that someone thought looked cool, so they made it into a breed. Those cats can't groom themselves. Their tongues are too rough, and it hurts too much, so they have to be bathed every week, or their oils will build up and get into their folds, and they'll get infections and get sick, and so you have to bathe Sphinx cats. As an example. So, and then I've had cats get stuff on them that, well, actually growing up, some weird stuff happened with us. When I was younger, we lived somewhere else in Interlaken, near the Interlaken Arts Academy. Actually, not too far from there. That was actually my first job. My mom had gotten 2 kittens, Siamese kittens, brothers, Agador and Spartacus, from the birdcage. Agador in the birdcage changes his name to Spartacus when the family of the in-laws come to visit. Anyway, and one was a blue point, one was a seal. The seal point was mine, and the blue was my sister's, so the serious, sophisticated steel point was Spartacus, and the blue was Agador. So Agador and Spartacus. But when they were kittens, they showed up and they had these little, like, just markings on their fur that looked kind of like patches. And the lady assured my mom, "Oh, don't worry. It's just they had a little condition, but they're fine now." And this is another thing about me. I've shared the story about how when I was a kid, I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested because I didn't speak English or any language anyone recognized. I spoke animal. I'd meow, woof, and neigh like a horse. Meow like a cat, bark like a duck. I've always had this weird thing. When I was a kid, I was 5, and my mom was getting ready to go to the store, and she said, "Do you want anything when I come back?" And I said, "A kitten." And she just gave me this look like, okay, she's going to get me a kitten. Because it was a long story. I found in a storm. When my mom went to get those Siamese cats, she's like, "Do you girls need anything?" And we're like, "Yeah, bring us back some kittens." Because I told my sister, I think she's going to go get us something tonight. My mom just again froze. Like, she came back and she goes, "I don't know. How did you know? Did you hear us?" And I said, "I just had a feeling." Same thing with our dog, this little puppy, Ujabu. Ujabu's from Ace Ventura. And he's talking to the dog, Ujabu. We couldn't figure out the name for the dog, and we kept doing the little Ujabu, Ujabu. Anyway, I said, "Bring us back a puppy." And my mom again was like, "What did you say?" I said, "Bring us back a puppy." And she came back with a puppy, and she's like, "Don't think this means every time you ask that I'm bringing you back animals." I said, "I know, I just get this feeling." Anyway, the cats had these markings on them. Turns out they had ringworm. They'd already had ringworm, and the lady treated it with the treatment, which is way better treatment nowadays, that you would only give an animal that's older, an adult cat, at least 7, 8 months old, and she gave it to these 8-week-old kittens. It did something mentally to them. Those cats never landed on their feet. They were like ragdoll cats, which is a breed. They were very sweet, but they were goofy cats. They were just very casual cats. But to get rid of it back then, safely, at their age, you had to bathe them once a week for 8 weeks in sulfur, which smells like rotten eggs, and all the animals they had been exposed to. And at the time, we had Uchabu and our pug Jinga. Jinga was this little pug we rescued from my uncle. A long story. And a Newfoundland. And Newfoundlands are huge. We were like, what are the chances? We didn't think the cats got near. We were not bathing the Newfoundland every week. It was just too much. And it turns out she didn't get it. My best friend got it on her stomach. And then I got it behind my ear. And had to go to middle school with ringworm. My hair had to stay up because if it gets into your hairline, it will create patches of hair just falling out. And it spreads fast. And I had it right here at the hairline. It was like, so I remember sitting in class and I could just feel this girl's eyes on me. And I looked and she was like staring like, ew, what is that? Felt like such a loser. I felt like a loser. I was like, nowadays, you get stuff from your animals. It wasn't like we were unclean or anything. We were not unclean. We just had a lady lie to us about her cattery. And of course, she wouldn't pick up the calls after that. So I did get half my money back for that one cat with the feline leukemia. I should have gotten it all back, but I got half of it, which in my opinion was an admission of guilt. That was an omission. Wait, admission of guilt. Yes. Because if she was completely innocent, she would have refused. I don't think I was her first phone call saying, "Our cat had this and this happen." And so, yeah, we had to bathe those animals every week. It was just so, it was a lot. Yeah, so we've had some interesting stuff happen. Everyone jokes about my mom, because, I mean, right now, her German Shepherd, which is a descendant of mine, and mine had interesting issues. Mine had megasophagus, which only 1% of them would survive. And the only other one that I found out about that in Michigan had the same megasophagus condition, the owner told us, because the vet told us to put him down. He was 8 weeks old. And she said, don't put them down. Here's what you do. And she's like, I find this interesting because you know what my German Shepherd that has this name's her name is, and we're like, what? Nicole. Our dog's name was Nicole. And so we followed her instructions, and after tedious running home from work, me running home from college, making sure he got fed 5+ times a day, we have to hold him up so the gravity pulled the food down and burp him, and that went on, and his whole life actually. Once he got bigger, he had to sit on the ground. It reversed itself, even though his muscle finally started working, which was, the vets just don't have they don't normally live that long to even see this happen, so it was miraculous. Um, you know, uh, it was just one of those things where we were determined to fix what was going on. But people joke about if anybody's if there's an animal out there in need of help, the Howards are going to end up with it. So my mom's shepherd right now, he's got some really goofy stuff going on, but he's outlived several things, and I hope he keeps going. Because she's like diligent about 4:30 he gets something, we give it to him 4:30, not 4:45 or 4:50. 4:30. And we're all kind of like that. So, I've talked about my horses. They're at the point right now where this tendons situation, that's more of a come up with lots of money and maybe get surgery. But I still spoil and take really good care of them and give them everything they need. Animals are a lot. If you're going to have them, then they may cost you a lot. It's just too bad that I think animals are extremely important for people to have. I don't like going, for instance, and staying at people's houses if they don't have an animal. I feel like if after a couple days, it's like you kind of just, it's just kind of lonely. Where are the animals? I think everybody should have the opportunity, and if there's, it just seems like I'm seeing the vets make good money taking advantage of people's love for their animals and charging a lot of money. I think that that's awful, especially the inflation. The inflation everywhere else, yes, their inflation is at 400% from 10 years ago. It's ridiculous. It's not fair. I think it's too bad. I don't think that vets should be allowed to charge this much money for some of the stuff they're doing. And I also think that maybe there could be more programs out there. Yeah, there's all kinds of things for neutering and spaying your pet, but when stuff like this happens, what do you do? And that's why people end up putting their animals to sleep or leaving it at the Humane Society because they can't afford to deal with the treatment. Anyway, that's my spiel on that today. I don't have much else to say. I just wanted to get a podcast out and share my infinite knowledge of animals and stuff like that. So now there you have it. What? I guess anything about that. I just nothing. I did something. Never mind. I'm gonna wrap this up. I actually have 2 cats on my shirt that I'm wearing. I think I'll wear the turquoise one next time I'm on. I got it in 2 colors. I think I ordered from Amazon. It's been like 4 years since I even bought some clothes for myself, and this might be one of those things. I don't shop. I don't have the money to shop right now. I would love to order some stuff. I love to just go shopping. I just don't have the time. If I had the time and the money, I would definitely like to go. So like I said, I hope this takes off. Not so I can go shopping and do that, but I know it's been a long time since I got anything new. Fortunately, I take very good care of my stuff, so that it lasts a really long time. I mean, I've got shoes that are from 20 years ago that still look brand new. I actually have a shirt from when I was 7 in my closet. That was really big on me when I was a kid, but now it's like a cute little tank. I would never wear it, but I still have it. Not that I'm a hoarder, but it's kind of sounded like that. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night. Thank you for watching the Nicole Howard Show. I'm going to go. Let's do this. And yeah, wrapping up the stream. All right. Huh. It just keeps going. Yes, I want to wrap this up. Work out, it asked if I want to.